So I did not get burned.
Good. I honestly want to go swimming again soon. It's just, I don't know. I'm like, is it safe to go swimming right now? I don't really know.
I mean, you have a communal pool, right?
Yeah.
So
It's like the community apartment complex pool, and I'm like, I might like go lay out there in the sun, but I don't know if I'll swim right now. Plus, my eczema's pretty bad right now, and I'm like, I don't really want to irritate it with chlorine.
So, what? I guess we can just kind of hop into our first bit. What made you ready for the weekend? What made your week long?
I had to work on Saturday.
That in and of itself is reason enough.
I would say I had to work on Saturday. It was fine. It was just really busy. Other than that, though, my week was really, really good. I think what we should start doing is like highs of the week and definitely lows of the week. Highs of the week, obviously, like editing, getting more episodes out was great. I felt really productive. Work's been really great. I don't know, I just feel pretty good about where life is taking me right now, so that's pretty great. Lows is more like, yeah, just working Saturday. Everything else has been fine. I think that's it. Nothing crazy. How about you?
Well, the centerpiece of my week, you know what happened. I don't really want to get into it like on the podcast because it's like personal. Yeah, it's personal information and not really my information to share. But it's something that I'm still kind of processing / like coping with.
It had to do with work.
Yes,
to make it less big. It had something to do with work, and it was an uncomfortable situation. That was it.
Yeah, and that's all I really want to say. But it made my week
weird,
very long. Like by the time Wednesday morning rolled around, I was like, "How is it only Wednesday?"
You're like,
morning?
I swear to God, you're like, I thought it was Friday. I'm done with this.
Yeah, but on the upside, I have a 3-day weekend, so I don't have to go back to work until Tuesday. So...
Oh, isn't that nice? No, I'm kidding.
Well,
I'm just fucking with you. No, at least I still have a 2-day weekend, so that's fine. And now that I have the technical, like, 3-day weekend that I would have normally had, well, anyways, Monday, I would have had Monday. I have Monday off, which is great because that means I only have to work Tuesday through Friday, so I only have a 4-day work week. So that's exciting. So when we record this... So when we record on Sunday, it'll be nice because I'll be like, I don't know, refreshed. I had off Thursday instead of Saturday. So on Thursday, I spent the entire day sleeping. I did not feel good on Saturday or Friday and Thursday. I had a really bad flare up with my disability, and I just had one of those days where I was exhausted. So the only way that I felt any better was to just keep... Why is my phone ringing? It's doing it again! The phantom ring!
I don't like that.
Did you hear that?
Oh, I don't like that. Yeah, I did.
What the fuck? I'm keeping this in.
Oh,
okay,
I
so
don't
guys,
like
right before the podcast we started recording, for some reason I got a phantom ring on my phone, so that's my ringtone. And for some reason, I was like literally looking at my phone when that happened, and there was no pop-up. I have an iPhone. There's no pop-up screen. Usually it says someone's name, shows the picture you have for them, and the accept and decline button. There was fucking nothing. My entire ringtone played. My phone vibrated. My Fitbit is connected to my phone. It vibrated, but it said no name. And again it happened. And I'm like,
I don't like that.
Who is calling me? And I called everyone I know who calls me on a daily basis. And they all were like, yeah, not me. I'm like, who the fuck is calling me? I'm so confused.
No, I
Did you hear that?
No. I heard the phone, but I thought... So Kay had sent us, which you should look at because it's wild, had sent us an Overwatch post on Reddit. And so I just thought that it was just...
what the fuck? Robot spider legs on Widowmaker? I really don't
so
like
I thought it was that, but then you were like, it's a phantom ring. So I was like, oh no, I don't like that. Yeah, because you had texted me like literally right before we started recording. Like
I restarted my phone too, and it still says I have 0 missed calls. Nothing. Nothing is showing up on my phone. Who the fuck is calling me?
You.
Like, what do I do? Like, how am I supposed to know who's calling me?
Oh, I don't.
What do I do? Like, I'm hoping it's just spam, but that even if it was spam, why would it not show up on my phone? It would
usually say like unknown caller or something like that.
Or just like a number. There's no screen is popping up at all. Like I was able to like send a full text message while my phone was still ringing.
I would exercise your phone and then throw it against a wall.
I don't have any sage though. So I guess I'm screwed.
Oh, no. Yeah, I guess you just have a haunted phone.
What the fuck? I've never had an issue. I really hope my phone's not like broken or something, or I'm gonna be very upsetty spaghetti.
It's haunted. Upsetty spaghetti.
What the fuck? Anyways, it's not that exciting, but I was just like, why is this happening to me? I don't understand, but whatever. I'll give you an update on that later because I really have no idea what the fuck's going on with that.
I don't like that it was just ringing with nothing.
You heard it, right?
I did. I heard it. Like I said, I heard it, but I thought it was like your notification for Kay texting us because
no, my notification text noise is Yoshi's ow, 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 ow.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
So no, but it only rang like for like 1 second. But I heard it. I don't know. And I don't want to call everyone again and be like, did you call me again? Because they're going to be like, no. Like, no, I definitely didn't call you.
Well, we are here together, you and I, so it wasn't me, and I know it wasn't Kay.
Well, I thought it was you, and I was going to call you, but I was like, I know her. If she called me and I missed it, she would follow up text me after.
Yeah, I usually do.
But I had no missed text message. Same thing with my other friend. I was like, oh, if she called me, she would have texted me and been like, hey, when you get the chance, can you call me back? Like, she would have said something, so I was just like, what the fuck? I don't know. I don't like that.
I don't either.
The moral of the story is, I don't like it, so...
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Anyways, let's talk about more fucking spooky stuff.
Yeah.
I worked for quite a while on these notes, only because I really like this, and I'm excited about it. And that was it.
So can we give like a little backstory about how long you've had these notes? Because I think that's a little
so I've been sitting on these notes for a week because the last time, so we trade off normally. I know the first 2 episodes we posted are messed up, but that's just because of something that happened editing wise and we had an issue. Anyways, doesn't matter. Normally we're supposed to be trading off every week. And for some reason, I thought it was my turn to have a spooky story, and it's only because I had just edited like a different episode, and it confused me as to what episode we were actually on. So I've been sitting on this story for like a week, just dying.
I also just want to point out that we are at 9 minutes and 9.5 minutes right now, and not only have we not brought up the corona, but we did not talk about the corona for all of this time. So I am so proud of us.
Surprising, because nothing's changed, so that's why. other than we, as people probably already know, again we live in Florida. Universal is opening again.
Oh yes,
Universal. How do you feel about that? As both of us being ex-Universal employees and that being the place that we've met, how do you feel about that?
I would have quit before. I would have quit working
with a quickness. You would have been like, "That's enough."
I probably, if I was still working there, I probably like once they gave us, or once they had announced the opening, that's when I would have put in my 2 weeks, because
I'm sure there's a bunch of people quitting right now.
Yeah, because I wouldn't want to go back to that. Now, they do have precautions in place to anybody who's listening, similar to Disney, where they have to do temperature checks. They have to wear face masks, but I don't...
Did you get the email they sent out? Because I just got it today, and I can read it. It just says...
Yeah, I got it yesterday.
Everyone is required to wear a face covering during their visit. Temperature checks will be required upon arrival, and guests with a temperature of 100.4 degrees or greater will not be admitted. Practice social distancing and keep at least 6 feet between your travel party and others, and wash your hands with soap and water often for at least 20 seconds. And
I don't know how they're going to like monitor people washing their hands, but whatever. My wonder is
you know how many people I see that go out of the bathroom and don't wash their fucking hands? What are they gonna have someone in the bathroom being like, hey, you didn't wash your hands. The person's just gonna go, fuck you, and then keep walking. Like, what are you gonna do? We'll see.
Yeah, no, that's true. My question is, I wonder if they have put spike tape in the queues for like 6 feet apart for social
I'm sure they have.
distancing.
I wouldn't be surprised. I'm sure they
I
did.
wouldn't be surprised if they did, but also because working there, I also wouldn't be surprised if they didn't, and they're just expecting people to do it.
I'm pretty sure it'll be similar to like how all the grocery stores and stuff are doing it, where they have the tape at least.
I think you're putting a lot of faith in that place.
I think if they didn't, they wouldn't be allowed to open, or they would have such bad PR that they would have to put it down.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Not that I think they want to do it, but because they would literally have to do it. So we'll see.
No,
but
I get what you're saying.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. I have my annual passes, and there's no way I'm going anytime soon.
Oh,
but that also means they're gonna start charging me for my annual pass now.
That's true. And they're opening the park, I think, a day earlier than for the annual pass holders than to like the general public.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Too bad it's on a day I work. Just kidding. I wasn't planning on going anyway.
Yeah, really. Okay, so now that we have gotten our weekly
sorry about that
coronavirus conversation in less than 2 minutes,
tell
me a
ready?
story.
So the
I am so ready.
So I'm going to talk about a very. Did I ever tell you what I was about? Oh, briefly.
You did.
I did.
You did, but you did not
touch on
into any specifics. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about one of my favorite creatures, the Wendigo.
Ooh, yes, please tell me.
I'm very excited. So, one, it's been around forever. Two, originally, so I'm going to bring this up before I get into it. Originally, as a gamer, one of the first places I ever saw it was in the game Until Dawn. So if you've ever played Until Dawn, it's part of the reason I like Wendigos. And also Until Dawn's just a really good game. Have you ever played Until Dawn?
I have not, but I'm a weenie about, as you know,
it's pretty creepy. I don't blame you.
I'm a weenie about like horror movies and horror games. Like I will watch
Which doesn't make sense. Which doesn't make sense.
I know. Literally, Kay and I had on Friday night, we had like a at-home date night, like movie theater. We blew up. It was cute. We blew up the air mattress and we put a movie in, and we had popcorn and we had like candy.
Aww.
And stuff like that. It was really cute, and chips, which is what I was eating before this. It was really cute, and we were looking through our catalog of DVDs, and I have like A Haunting in Connecticut, and she was like, "Why do you have that movie?"
Yeah, honestly, why do you?
And I was like, "It's a good movie," and she was like, "I don't think you actually don't like horror movies."
Yeah, I don't think you do either. I think it's more you're just like worried to get scared, but like you're going to get scared.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, like I'm a weenie about horror movies and horror games, but I still watch them. And on the flip side, like I will spend every weekend of my life at Halloween Horror Nights because I freaking love Halloween Horror Nights.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I will say playing a scary game and watching a scary game are two different things. Same thing with watching a scary movie and like going to Halloween Horror Nights is different.
That's true.
But yeah, like I went to Halloween Horror Nights like 10 times last year, so...
Yeah, no, that's the thing, is I freaking love Halloween Horror Nights. Anyway,
that doesn't make sense!
I think I'm a liar, and I actually really like horror movies and horror games.
Well, so Until Dawn is essentially like a choice-based game where it's like the premise of like a bunch of people go to a cabin in the woods and it's
right. I know about it, I've just never played it.
Well, also, and Rami Malek's in it, and what's her face? Something. 1 second, I'm gonna look it up. There's another girl in it. She's blonde. Oh, Hayden Panettiere.
Oh yes, Hayden Pal. I know.
Hayden Pal. Got it. She's also in it, and they like map their faces and stuff, and the people look pretty similar to how they look in real life, so it's pretty cool.
Hayden Pelletier.
It's Panettiere. The fact that you're still struggling. Panettiere.
You know what? It doesn't matter.
You're having a rough time.
Her name is French. I speak Spanish. Thank you.
I don't speak French. Anyways, they're both in it. It's really good. There's a lot of choices involved. and it does get dark very quickly, but Wendigos are literally the main thing in the entire game. It's very cool. Definitely would recommend if you're wanting something spooky and fun. But that's part of the reason I like Wendigos. Anyways.
Okay.
So I'm going to talk to you about its history and folklore and stuff.
So hit me with a story.
Okay. So, during a brutally cold winter, a man's intense hunger drove him to cannibalism. After eating another human's flesh, he was transformed into a beast, roaming the forest in search of people to eat. Wendigos may appear as a monster with some characteristics of a human or as a spirit who has possessed a human being and made them into a beast. It is historically associated with cannibalism, murder, and greed. Native to the forests of the Great Lake region and the central regions of Canada, and part of the upper states, including Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan, the Wendigo has long been known among the Algonquian Ojibwe. I had to look up these pronunciations. Eastern Cree, Soto, and West Main Swampy Cree, Naskapi, and Innu people who have described them as giants. They're strongly associated with winter, the north, famine, starvation, just like it's been a thing for a long time. So there's two different things. Half of people think Wendigos are an actual creature, and half of people think Wendigos describe people who go so crazy and who kill people and murder and are super selfish. They just say, oh, they're a Wendigo, because they can't be faced with the fact that they're just a monster, because they've fucked up so bad.
Some people would be like, oh, Jeffrey Dahmer is a Wendigo.
Essentially, like if this was like 300 years ago, yeah, if he was killing and eating his tribe and stuff like that, they would just be like, oh, he's possessed by a Wendigo, or he's a Wendigo, he's turning into a Wendigo, because they just couldn't face that humans could be that bad.
Okay.
That's where it kind of is.
Did you say when this started? Did I like
no, because there was a bunch of different time periods that I saw.
Oh, okay.
Most of them date back to about 1700s or 1800s, but I saw a bunch of different time periods, so I don't really want to date it because it seems very different depending on the places that I was looking at. But it's been hundreds of years. So the way that the Algonquian Ojibwe Native American legend describes Wendigos as a giant with a heart of ice. Sometimes it is thought to be entirely made of ice. Its body is skeletal and deformed with missing lips and toes. The Ojibwe, yeah, it's not good.
Hold on. I'm gonna look up a picture of Wendigo.
Yes, so I'm gonna explain the next one. So it's Wendigo.
Oh no!
So then they're also described as a large creature as tall as a tree, with a lipless mouth and jagged teeth. Its breath was a strange hiss, its footprints full of blood, and ate any man, woman, or child who ventured into its territory. Sometimes the Wendigo chose to possess a person instead, and then the luckless individual became a Wendigo himself, hunting down those who he had once loved and feasting upon their flesh.
Ew.
They look gross.
Look like White Walkers from like the Game of Thrones series.
They definitely do.
Hold on, I'm gonna send you this picture that I found. I'm sure you've already seen it, but it's oogly.
It's oogly boogly.
Oh no, they're terrifying.
Ugh. But it has hair. No. The ones I see usually don't.
I know. That's what
it usually doesn't. The legend is.
Ooh, I don't like it the way I looked up Wendigos Until Dawn, and it looks like a spidery legs golem. I don't like it.
Yeah, it doesn't look good. Especially in Until Dawn, they make it real creepy.
Oh no.
It's pretty bad. Where was I? Oh,
sorry.
So, you're fine. So the legend is, a Wendigo is created whenever a human resorts to cannibalism to survive. Historically, this happened when Native Americans and settlers found themselves stranded in the woods in brutal winters. Sometimes they were stranded for days, and any survivor would contemplate eating the dead to survive. Other different versions of the legend say that humans who showed greed and gluttony were supposed to be possessed by a Wendigo. The legend gets its name to the disputed modern medical term Wendigo psychosis, which is considered by some psychiatrists to be a syndrome that creates an insatiable craving for human flesh and a fear of eating humans. Funny enough, it's actually said to happen to people who live within that area, like in the north of the US and south of Canada. Wendigo psychosis usually happens in the winter to people who have been alone and hungry, and the initial symptoms are poor appetite, nausea, and vomiting. Because of that, the individual thinks that they're being being transformed. So if someone in the group was thought to be a Wendigo, they would actually bring them to native healers to be cured. And if it failed and the possessed person began either to like threaten those around them or they're antisocial, they executed them because they were just like, it's not worth it.
Well, that went from 0 to 100.
Literally, they are like, I don't want any part of that man. Let's kill him. I'm like,
yeah, really.
Like,
he's a Wendigo. Right. Nothing we can do. Goodbye.
They're like, that's fine. They were like, we didn't like Bill anyway. He's been weird. Like, they were like, oh my god, Bill's weird. He's possessed by Wendigo. Like, that was, they just like threw it in there. And Bill's like, no, I'm just hungry. And they're like, yeah, you would be, wouldn't you?
And then poor Bill is like,
no, I'm just actually
am
hungry.
I a Wendigo?
He'd probably just be like, no, I promise. Just like when they did like the witch trials, or like, have you ever seen that video? I showed Eric this video. It's a video from Vine. Well, I think it's, if I remember correctly, Meech on Mars was one of the people in the video who was a Vine star. Anyways, the video is basically one of them is saying like, what's your favorite word? And the other one's like, I don't know, I like moist. And the other one's like, you're a witch. And the person's like, no, like, that's just my favorite word. And he's like, you're a witch. You're a fucking witch. And it's just because he doesn't like them. So I feel like that's probably how it was with Wendigos, because they were just like, we don't like that one. He's a Wendigo.
Yeah, you have not shown me that Vine, but
I will send it to you. Wait, let me see if I can find it.
Anybody who likes that Vine is I'm sorry, not that Vine. I'm sure the Vine is great. Who likes that word is incorrect.
Yeah, absolutely. When we're done at the end, once we like get all the way to the end, I want you to watch the video and then you have to describe it at the end of the podcast.
Okay.
And it's gonna be really funny, I promise.
Don't let me forget. Oh, do you want me to wait?
Yeah, wait. Because it's long.
Okay.
It's long.
Okay.
Okay. So another way that they have described Wendigos, they are said to be almost 15 feet tall. Body is often described as emaciated, it's gaunt. It looks like its skin is pulled super tightly over its bones. It's supposed to be gray, and its eyes are supposed to be like super far back into its sockets. It does have lips. They're very thin and bloody. It supposedly also smells like rotting flesh and death. So that's great. It's also been said that the Wendigo has large, sharp claws and massive eyes like an owl. Some say that it's really fast and quick agility, and some say that he kind of walks like he's falling apart. So either they're super agile and quick, or they're just like zombies walking.
I don't like that.
Another one of its traits, it's supposed to mimic human voices and lure them. So apparently they're supposed to use the mimicking to lure people in and draw them away from their civilization. And then once they're isolated, he can finally eat them. It's also said that when a Wendigo is close to you, it sounds super far away. And if it's far away, it sounds really close.
Oh, so that's like La Llorona.
Yeah, it fucks with you.
Oh, I don't like that either.
Yeah, because it just fucks with your head.
Mm-hmm.
The rough translation of Wendigo is the evil spirit that devours mankind. The translation is based on another version of the Wendigo that claims that he has the power to curse humans by possessing them, making them just as ravenous as he is. And a quick story, one of the most documented Wendigo stories. So during the winter of 1878 to 79, Swift Runner and his family were starving, along with other Cree families of that time. His oldest son died of starvation, unfortunately, and after a bit of time, Swift Runner unfortunately succumbed to Wendigo psychosis. Though emergency food supplies were available at Hudson Bay's Company Post, which was about 25 miles away, he didn't even try to get there. He decided to kill the rest of his family and eat all of them.
Oh my god.
And then he eventually confessed to his members of his, tribe and town, and he was executed.
Yeah, really.
And then, there's a couple other random stories, but I couldn't find a lot of documentation about it, and I didn't want to throw it in here if it was, incorrect. But Wendigo creature sightings, unfortunately, are still reported, especially apparently in northern Ontario, near the Cave of the Wendigo, and around the town of Kenora, where it has allegedly also been spotted. There are many who still believe that Wendigo roams the woods and the prairies of northern Minnesota and Canada. Kenora, Ontario, as well, has been given the title of Wendigo Capital of the World.
Ooh. Ooh, I would not live there.
I wouldn't either, but yeah, people are still seeing Wendigos. But it's interesting to see what people think Wendigos are, whether it's an actual beast or if it's just people. The fact that people are like, oh, it's possessing you.
So, like, when we talked about the chupacabra, I was like, scientists think that it's like dogs with mange, right? So, is there something
it's similar? So people think that one of the theories, I thought it was just that it's humans, that it's just a really, really emaciated human. Ugh. And they look so gaunt that they look like a monster.
Okay.
Because if you look at some Wendigo pictures, what they look like, it just looks like a human body.
It's very humanoid.
Yeah, it's supposed to, the tall thing, most people are, it's just because it's so far in the distance.
Oh, it's hard to gauge. Anytime I'm like looking up or listening to somebody's story and they're like, oh, it's probably about 5 feet away, I'm like, how do you know that?
Exactly. I'm like, I don't know. Plus, I think a lot of like the bloody lips and the teeth and stuff like that is because they're cannibals.
Okay.
So it could just be a normal human that people are like so shocked that they just assume it's a beast because it's covered in blood, its hair is really long, its eyes look really crazy, it has a sunken in face. It could just be someone that's like super starving, who's been alone and isolated in the winter and is hungry, and so a lot of people are just like, it's just a human. Like, okay. So it could just be that. I feel like nowadays it's a little harder to believe that like if you did spot a Wendigo that you'd just be like, oh, it's just a human, because at least in those areas I feel like access to food is a little bit easier than it was back then. So
right.
But definitely interesting to see how people are like, oh, it's an actual creature, or oh no, it's just a human that has no sense of control anymore.
Okay.
Willing to turn on their own family and loved ones because they're hungry instead of just dying.
Okay, that makes sense.
But that is the story of the Wendigo. Also, Angel, go ahead and watch that video and I'll just mute myself.
Okay.
And you'll mute yourself, and then once you're done watching it, just hop back in because I want you to explain that video. If you want to look it up on YouTube, it's just Salem Witch Trials, and it has, at least right now, it has about 600,000 views. Okay, but it's been gone. It's been like up for a while, so I don't think it's changing anytime soon. But go ahead.
All right. I'm gonna mute myself, and then I'm gonna watch it, and then I'll describe the video when I come back.
Okay, cool. It's so funny, isn't it?
Okay. All right.
And then try to describe in your best. I'm doing this because I think it's hilarious, and if anybody actually watches the video, they're gonna be like, okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead and try to describe that.
So the beginning of the video, like before even the actual content, the YouTubers, I guess, in
it's like their intro.
Yeah, they are dressed in Freddy Krueger masks, and it's just like subscribe and like if you want to.
Yeah, if you want to.
So then it gets to like the actual meat of the video, and he's like, I like the word confuddled. You know, like I'm confuddled with this. I'm confused, but I'm cool with you. And I like the word bubbles. Like I want to get some bubbly. and then the supposed witch goes, well, I like the word moist. Like, and he goes off, and the only thing I really remember, he goes, my cat's moist.
Yeah, he was like, you know, this couch is moist, my cat be moist, and he goes, oh no, oh hell no, you a witch.
You a witch. And so for this video is like 3 minutes long.
Yeah, it's not really that long, and it's pretty funny.
But for the next 3 minutes is a homeboy with different things on his head. Like he has like a Sterilite container lid on his head.
There's
and
like
his
a towel
laptop on his head and a towel. And they're all just like, we're gonna burn. You a witch. You a fucking witch.
My favorite is like, here's the plan, y'all. Here's the plan. We're gonna tie her up. We're gonna tie her up real tight, and we're gonna throw her in the lake. And if she swim to the top, if she swim to the tip of the top, he's like, tip of the top, tip of the top. And he's like, oh, you like that? That's my favorite. Like, yeah, I like that. Anyways, if she swim to the top, then she's a witch. But if she's not,
then we have to burn her.
Yeah, and then we have to burn her. But if she's not, then she's not a witch. And the other person's like, but then I'm dead. And he's like, oh, that sucks. Like,
boy, is this the same person who did the water is not wet? Have you ever seen that video?
No, that's a different person.
Okay, all right. No, he is the person who did Chaz Smith. So Chaz Smith does the water is not wet video. And then he also does one with a quesadilla in the microwave, but at some point in the middle of it, he goes, quesadilla. Anyway, okay.
The whole thing was very, but now you know what I was like thinking. It was like, I feel like a lot of the people were probably just like, I don't like him. I guess he must be a Wendigo. Fine.
Yes, okay, so now we are on the same page. Okay.
Yeah, well, not for me today.
So this week, there's a fair bit of information and news.
About gaming?
About gaming, yeah, which is exciting because I think we're starting to get to a point where, like, we're not back to normal, but I think that
people are treating it like we are going back to normal.
Right. I think that we are living or coming to a place where this is a new normal and it is not the same as before the pandemic, but I think we're coming to a place of a new normal, so people are starting to like move forward with their lives, which thank God.
I think you're right, but it's just scary because we might be going too fast.
I agree with that statement as well, but I am not in a position to make decisions like that. I could just do my best to keep myself and my family safe.
Exactly.
So by the time this comes out, maybe the first couple of things I talk about might be like a couple days behind, or it might come out like on the day of. So this is a list of games that are coming to the Nintendo Switch in June. So the first one, yeah, so I'm gonna go in order of most recent, like towards the end of the month, and then at the end, at the end of this list, there's gonna be like a couple that just said coming in June, and I'm like, well, there's 30 days in June, so
we'll see when.
So the first one is Clubhouse Games, 51 Worldwide Classics. It's a party game compilation published by Nintendo, and it features popular tabletop boards from around the world, like Mancala, Backgammon, Checkers.
I would play the hell out of that.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that, actually.
So Connect 4, chess, darts, air hockey, war, Yahtzee, pool, battle tanks, fishing, bowling, and 36 other popular tabletop games from around the world. It will be available for digital download or for physical purchase on June 5th. The next one is The Outer Worlds.
Oh, I heard a lot about this.
Yes, so everybody knows it's an action RPG / FPS from Obsidian Entertainment. It was a title that was released originally on PC, PS4, and Xbox in October of last year, but it's set to release on the Switch worldwide on June 5th as well.
A lot of stuff going on in June 5th.
So the next game is a 1971 Project Helios. It's a turn-based strategy game from Rico Technology, which combines modern warfare and close combat, I guess. I've never heard of it. I was just kind of like looking up games. This one is set to release on all platforms, so available on PC, Xbox One, PS4, and Nintendo Switch all on June 9th.
Okay, cool.
The next game is Ancestors Legacy. It's from Destructive Creations, and it's a real-time strategy game. It was inspired by medieval European history and features 4 different nations whose conflicts are usually resolved by war, much in a very Game of Thrones fashion. It was originally released for PC in May of 2018, and then for Xbox One and PS4 in August of last year. So it'll be released for digital download on the Switch on June 11th.
Okay, cool.
Next one is called Warborn from Rare Drop Games, and it looks a hell of a lot like a Voltron ripoff.
Oh, really? What's it called?
Warborn. It's one word. And so if you like look that up, and then you look up, like Voltron
you right.
Thunder, yeah.
Right,
I'm like, oh no. So that's set to release on June 12th. I'm sure it's a good game. I'm sure it's going to be a good game.
I mean, it looks fine.
But when I looked it up, I was like, oh no, this is a Voltron. This looks like Voltron. And you know how I love me some Voltron. From Rage Squid and No More Robots, which, like, where do these people come up with?
I'm looking those up. Rage Squid.
Yeah. Rage Squid is the developer, and No More Robots is the publisher. The name of the game is called Descenders. It's an extreme sport and racing game, which was originally released on PC, PS4, and Xbox One back in February of 2018. I'm sorry, 2018, not 2018. What?
2018.
You know, that old thing.
That thing. 2018, my favorite.
It's my favorite day of the year.
Is that in December? Is it like near your birthday? Like right before your birthday kind of thing?
Yeah, it's the 2018th.
2018. You know. Got it. Good to know. Can't wait. I'm gonna have presents ready for you.
I appreciate it. So it was released in February of 2018 and will be released on the Switch on June 16th.
Oh, it took like 2 years for them to be able to do that?
Mm-hmm.
Weird.
Especially because, like, the Switch I was still in college when the Switch came out. Because it was my last semester in college. I was only like taking one class, I think, and I went to the midnight release of the Switch, and I got Breath of the Wild. And I remember I was living in an apartment with my ex-roommate, and I left the apartment without telling her where I was going. I just said I was going out, and I came back with a Switch, and she was like, "Why did you buy a Switch?" And I was like,
"Because I want a Switch."
She literally had spent like $500 at Lush.
What the fuck?
And then I had to ask my mom to help us pay.
Who spends that much money at Lush?
You know who.
I know, but I mean, I know who you're talking about. It's just more like, why do you need to spend that much money at Lush?
Yeah, I don't know.
Trust me, I love a bath bomb, but like, what is she doing with all of those? Is she having like one mega bath, or like she putting those bath bombs somewhere? Like, what is she doing with all those?
Yo, I don't know.
I guess Lush has makeup and other stuff too, but I've never had to buy that. I bought like lotion at Lush. They have some bomb ass lotion at Lush, especially for people with eczema. But like, I don't think I've spent that much money at a store in a very, very long time.
I think probably the $500 is an exaggeration, but the point of it was that she was like, "Why did you buy a Switch?" And I was like,
"Why'd you buy all your bath bombs, bitch?"
Yeah, I know. What are you gonna do with all those bath bombs? At least my Switch will last me a while. Your bath bombs disappear when you take a bath.
Also, apartment bathtubs suck ass.
Yeah. Anyway, so that came out back when I was still in college, which was before February of 2018. So I don't really know why it didn't come out then, but it's coming out on June 16th for the Switch. The Senders is. Next one is Burnout Paradise Remastered. It's a racing game from Criterion and Stellar Entertainment Software.
Oh, I know. Ooh.
Oh, okay.
I've played it. Sorry, I've played it.
That's okay. It's set to release on June 19th. For some reason, I did not put when it was originally released, but whatever.
Is that game old as fuck?
I know.
I'm gonna look it up. You want to know how fucking old Burnout Paradise is?
Tell me.
2008.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's why I was like, what do you...
There's another game on this list that was originally released in 2002.
Okay. What game? What game?
I can't remember. We'll get there, I'm sure.
Okay, go ahead.
The next game is called Railway Empire from Calypso Media and Gaming Mind Studio. It's a construction and management sim that originally released
more work.
Yeah.
But some people really like that stuff, but like, ugh.
I'm not a big fan of simulators like that.
I'm okay with some simulators, but some that actually feel like real work, I'm like, bro, I already work 40 hours a week. I don't need more work.
Right. Truck driving sims and...
I've done truck driving sims and it like stresses me out.
Yeah. No, I'm not a big fan of those. I can do a farming sim like Harvest Moon all day long.
Or like Stardew or something.
Yeah, but that's not...
I guess that's not technically a simulator game, but still, yeah. Anything that's actually a realistic simulation, you're like, I'm so stressed out. Surgeon Simulator.
Oh, no. Oh, no. So that's what this is, and it was originally released for PC on January 26th, 2018, for Xbox One and PS4 on January 30th, 2018, which was my birthday. Woo! And it's set to release for the Switch on June 19th.
I'm probably going to wind up getting one of these games, at least.
There's one coming up here that I did not hear about before I had done this research, and now I am absolutely going to get it because it looks so interesting and so good.
Oh.
It's 3 games away, so we have to get through my least favorite. I didn't even want to talk about it. Maybe it would be interesting to somebody, so the next game is SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated.
That is not what I thought you were going to say. Like at all. I was like bracing myself and I was like, yeah, out of everything you could have said, that was definitely not what I was expecting.
I am definitely in the unpopular opinion. I don't care for SpongeBob. I know, I'm sorry.
I mean, I like SpongeBob, I just don't like him in video game form, but I love SpongeBob.
I don't care for the cartoon. I think it I know.
Angel, I'm hurt!
I'm sorry.
Have you ever seen the episode where Squidward admits that he finally likes Krabby Patties, and so he eats so many that his thighs get really fat, and then SpongeBob's like, be careful, if you eat too much, they go to your thighs, and then you blow up.
I've seen that episode.
How do you not like SpongeBob? There's so many fucking...
Because for all of the good little moments that made me chuckle, there were more that I was like, this is so stupid.
But that's all part of the appeal of it, just like Ed, Edd n Eddy or something. Like, I don't know.
I don't want to come off as snobby, but my brain is a little bit more stimulation than that.
I'm so hurt. All I can think about is there's like the audio of one of the SpongeBob SquarePants episodes going around on TikTok, the one where he finally works his shift at night, and he's like, ow, I burnt my hand at night. Or he's like, I'm mopping the floors at night. There's just a bunch of good SpongeBob moments that are just so weird.
Well, everybody's entitled to their opinion.
Oh, yeah.
My brothers are all fans of SpongeBob, but for me, it just never clicked.
What was your childhood show that clicked then?
I'm trying to think. I guess it was... I wasn't really allowed to watch a lot of cartoons when I was a kid. My mom didn't like Cow and Chicken or Ed, Edd n Eddy, so we weren't really allowed to watch those. I was not allowed to watch PG-13 movies growing up. I wasn't allowed... So the interesting thing about this podcast is I wasn't allowed to play video games when I was growing up either, because my mom didn't like that new consoles would come out. And so she would have to buy a whole new console for a whole new game. So instead of doing that, she just said, no, you can't play video games.
Which, okay, that's like, that never stopped anybody.
Right. She didn't like the idea that new consoles would come out, even though, like, as I've gotten older, like, if I had known how much, like, video games would have affected my life when I was young enough to make better decisions about my future, I would not have gone to school for what I did go to school for, and probably would have gone to school for video game design or development instead. But that's fine. Anyway, so I wasn't allowed to play video games when I was a kid. So I didn't like have like I wasn't allowed to watch Power Rangers when I was a kid. So I don't have like that nostalgia everybody else does. The first thing that my dad freaking loved Mojo Jojo.
Really?
I think probably Powerpuff Girls was one of the
top
shows. Yeah. Okay, so I was still a kid. Avatar: The Last Airbender was...
Did you see it's on Netflix again?
Yes, it's on Netflix again. I have seen that. But that came out when I was, I guess, 13.
Okay.
Yep, that makes sense. And
were you allowed to watch that?
Yes. And I watched Avatar: The Last Airbender religiously. And my brothers, like, jam. We loved that show. And I still freaking love that show. And I freaking loved Korra, and... The same people did the Netflix The Dragon Prince, which is really good. But yeah, so I guess Avatar: The Last Airbender was kind of like my childhood. But yeah, I didn't really like SpongeBob, and then I wasn't allowed to watch all of the other like things that people have nostalgia over. So, you want to know the other one I just remembered?
Yeah, go ahead.
As Told by Ginger.
Oh, I do remember that show. I did like it.
Told me the grass is much greener on the other side.
I do remember that.
Yeah, that was my other jam. Okay, sorry, we got sidetracked, didn't we?
Go ahead, continue.
So SpongeBob SquarePants, it's set to release on all platforms, again, PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch on June 23rd. So you can look forward to that, I guess, if you want to. The next game is called Ninjala. It's a free-to-play multiplayer game from Gung Ho Online, and it was originally slated to release in May, but was delayed to June 24th because of our esteemed lady Rona. So.
The Rona.
I know. So this next game is the one that I was just talking about a little bit ago, where I hadn't heard of it before I started doing the research, but after doing the research, I'm super interested to get it. It's called The Almost Gone. It's a mystery exploration game from Happy Volcano BBBA and Played Digious, where a young girl's spirit looks for a way out of a magical afterlife.
Sounds really cool.
This game will be available only on the Switch and mobile devices, and will be available on June 25th.
Very interesting.
So I'm definitely going to play that. The next game is Brigadine, The Legend of Runnercia. I didn't proofread this. The next game is Brigadine, The Legend of Runnercia, a Switch exclusive coming from Matrix Software. It's a war strategy game and will be available for digital download on June 25th. Oh, this is the one I was talking about that came out originally in December of 2002.
Okay, please do share.
It's called Mr. Driller Drillland from Namco and Bandai Namco Entertainment.
What? Let me look. You said Mr. Driller.
Mr. Driller Drillland. It's like a match 3 game.
Oh, it kind of looks like. Oh, I played this all the time. I didn't know it was called that.
Right. So it was originally released on PC and GameCube, like I said, back in December of 2002. But it's been remastered and will be available for digital download on June 25th again.
The nostalgia is about to come oozing back.
Ooh, I don't like that word, oozing.
Moist. My cat be moist.
Next game is called Journey to the Savage Planet. It's an action-adventure game from Typhoon Studios that originally released on January 28th for PC, PS4, and Xbox One, and will release for the Nintendo Switch in Europe and North America on June 30th. I think it's already in Japan. I might be wrong about that, though.
You never know.
Next one is The Legend of Heroes, Trails of Cold Steel from Nihon Falcom. It's a JRPG which originally released for PC and PS4 back in 2017. Fun fact, this specific game, because there's another game in the Legend of Heroes series, but this one, the Trails of Cold Steel 3, is the 13th game in a long-standing series of the Legend of Heroes games that started back in the 1980s.
The lucky number 13.
It's like any game that starts with the Legend of, I guess, is gonna start in the 1980s.
Yeah, apparently.
It was highly anticipated in Japan, which saw its release back in March, but for European and American gamers, it will be available on June 30th for the Nintendo Switch. So this last game is the last one that has like a definite, quote unquote, definite release date. It's called No Straight Roads from Metronomic. It's an action-adventure game that makes you utilize the beats of music in order to play it. So while it's not necessarily a rhythm game, keeping the beat will be helpful in gameplay for this game, apparently.
I've heard of that. It sounded really cool.
Yeah, so it will be available on PS4 and Nintendo Switch on June 30th. So, like I said, the next couple of ones were like June 20th or sometime in June. And I'm here like, yes, thank you for a specific
definite date. I very much appreciate
it. There are only 30 days in June. This next one is called Demon's Tier Plus. It was developed by indie developer Daniel Fernandez Chavez and was originally released for PC back in February of 2019, but it'll be ported to the Switch and available for digital download in June. I don't know. What day?
Just June.
Just June. The last one for June is called...
This piece of paper is on fucking fire. Eric, it's just on fire. It got dropped. Oh no.
Are you good?
No, I literally picked up the post-it note and I dropped it over this open candle and it lit on fire.
You were just suddenly like...
It's a candle you gave me 2 years ago, and it lit on fire. It's fine.
I was napping.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, my heart. I woke up to a flame, to an open flame.
I literally went to go put this down, and I guess it got caught, and then it just lit on fire.
Marlon, what are you doing?
What?
So,
that's fine. It'll come off, right?
Maybe not the yellow.
Can you get a Lysol wipe? Anyways, you can keep going. Sorry.
I just want to sidetrack. I don't know if you'll be able to edit out or not, but in between a couple of things, I had to pause because the dogs were playing and grumbling. So we put Merlin in his crate for now until he finished. But I just looked over and he's got a giant underbite, and I just
his little cute underbite.
He's chewing on one of the bars on the crate, and his mouth is just sticking out of the crate.
What a weirdo.
Oh, I love him. He's so cute. So, the last game for June is called Ponpu, Ponpu, developed by Purple Tree Games. It's an action-adventure game that will be released on all platforms, including most mobile devices, sometime in June. The last little bit I have is actually not June, but it was supposed to release in June. Fairy Tail, which I am a fan of the anime, from Gust Company Limited, was supposed to be coming to PC, PlayStation 4, and the Switch on March 19th. But then because of the Rona, it was pushed back to June 25th. And then again, because of Our Lady Rona, it was pushed back. And now the current release date is July 30th in Japan and Europe, and July 31st in North America.
Coolios.
I guess. So I just wanted to add that little bit in. In addition to games coming in June, the wedding event is coming to Animal Crossing in June. And I am going to recreate our wedding on our island.
That's amazing. I'm so excited.
So it's Cyrus and Reese are, I guess the story goes that Cyrus and Reese are getting anniversary pictures taken, and you have to go to Harv's Island, which I have only been to once out of curiosity.
I fucking hated it.
Yeah, you have to go to Harv's Island and help them set up their anniversary pictures, and I guess you get some cool like wedding themed like furniture, decor and stuff as like a reward for helping them with that. So I guess I'm gonna have a reason to go to Harv's Island, but only during the wedding event. And it wouldn't be our podcast if we didn't bring up Animal Crossing at least once.
Yeah, exactly.
So now moving on to some different news. On May 19th, so only a couple of days ago, Polish game developer CD Projekt Red, who is responsible for Witcher 3 Wild Hunt as well as Gwent, Saints Row, Thronebreaker, and the highly anticipated Cyberpunk 2077, officially became Europe's most valuable and profitable game company at 8.04 billion euros, coming out ahead of Ubisoft, who's a gaming giant.
That's insane.
Yes, at 7.85 billion euros. But highlights for CDPR don't end there. Apparently, a couple months ago, CDPR came out over other industry giants Orlen and Bank PEKAO in the Warsaw Stock Exchange, and apparently still sits there like ahead of everybody as of May 21st.
Do you think it's gonna stay like that because of everything going on?
I don't know. The trouble, so that was my next point, is with success is the risky business behind it. While CDPR has certainly turned out some successful games of late, they're still widely considered quote unquote like a hit or miss company, meaning that their success mostly depends on the performance of one or two products, which honestly are likely Witcher 3 and Cyberpunk 2077. So if Cyberpunk fails for whatever reason, yeah, basically. That's not likely to happen based on like projections and things like that. But if it does, CDPR will fall into a crisis. So that's all I got on that little bit. Not a lot, but it's still pretty interesting.
It's still very interesting.
Well, because like CDPR is kind of small. I think I read that they only have like a couple of stations across Europe, but Ubisoft has offices basically worldwide. So it's really
much smaller company.
Yeah. So wasn't a lot of information, but was still pretty interesting information. So moving on to some different news, Sony announced in a recent investor meeting that they were preparing a lineup showcase of titles that will be launching alongside its new PS5 system. And there isn't much more information at this time about all that, but I guess since the plan right now is to release the console in the fall in time for the holidays, we ought to expect to be hearing something probably over the summer would be my best guess. Usually something like this would be saved for E3, but because of the coronavirus and even before the coronavirus forced cancellation of E3, Sony had dipped out from presenting at the conference altogether.
Yeah, so exactly.
I guess this probably means we're going to be getting closer to people coming out about what they're going to do instead of E3, and I hope so.
I mean, we're pretty close now.
Yeah, because like now we're getting June is usually when E3 happens.
I haven't seen any major updates.
Yeah, no, I haven't either, which I'm a little bit surprised about. But to be fair, the pandemic kind of blindsided everybody, and they didn't really plan on not going to E3, so I'm sure it's taking a lot of work to kind of come up with a plan B.
Yeah, it's just like I'm sure people are already expecting some type of game plan, and I haven't seen anything.
So, I mean, I'll keep my eyes peeled for that. I'm sure you will too, but that's just what I've got. Moving on from that, do you remember when we first realized that we couldn't get Overwatch League tokens for watching OWL anymore?
Yes.
Well, apparently, as of 2 days ago, Friday, May 22nd, YouTube's partner partnership with Activision finally led to in-stream drops for Overwatch and Call of Duty League, which I had no idea was a thing before I saw this article.
Yeah, I thought I just never think about it because I don't play Call of Duty anymore.
Right. I don't really watch Call of Duty. I didn't even know it was a thing until I saw this news article. So I don't know what kind of drops you get for watching those matches, but as far as Overwatch is concerned, the drops will function very similarly, almost basically the same as they did when you could stream it on Twitch. You'll get 5 owl tokens for every hour of Overwatch League watch through the website on desktop or mobile or through the Owl app. But I guess now that I can't get that Brigitte goat skin anymore.
Goat? Wait, what?
You remember the Brigitte goat skin?
Like Brigitte goat skin?
Yeah, look it up.
What are you talking about?
The Brigitte goat skin.
I forgot that it was called goat. I have this skin.
Yeah, I don't because I was
I'm so
short 30 tokens or something like that, and
I wanted it because I loved the color scheme for it. I forgot that it was called goat.
Yeah,
I was like, what?
I just out about it because I can't get it now, and I don't have a whole lot of extra money to pour into getting owl tokens.
Yeah, it's not worth it. If you already have it, then fine. But if you have to spend money for it, then it's not worth it.
Right, which is I don't have a lot of money, and I like watching Overwatch, and I like watching Overwatch League, and I like watching other people play Overwatch, and clearly I like playing Overwatch, but I don't have a lot of extra money to be pouring into this game. I almost never buy extras.
Yes, we play a lot, but we don't spend a lot of extra money on video games.
Right. The only time I spent extra was when they were doing the Pink Mercy, but that's because I have a lot of strong feelings about breast cancer research. It's something that's very close to my heart.
Yeah, so and again, it was for a good cause. They were also donating that.
Right. I was willing to buy the skin and to buy the t-shirt, which I have, and I wear it all the time because that's something that's really important to me, but just for cosmetics in a video game, I can't just
me neither.
That's fine. Anyway, so that's the other thing was Vancouver Titans are basically, because of the coronavirus, they kind of had to change out their entire roster. Because the original roster, most of the roster was from Korea, but because they are quote unquote Vancouver Titans, it was just, I didn't look super deep into it, but they're changing the roster so that they can play in the Pacific League instead of the Atlantic League. I'm sorry.
Gotcha.
Vice versa, the Atlantic League instead of Pacific, which is, it's kind of a bummer, but they're gonna do the best they can, I'm sure. But that was just
there's nothing they can really do about it, unfortunately.
Yeah, because time zones were weird, and they have to kind of play from home because, of course, the coronavirus is keeping people from being in
the same space.
Right, which is fine. It's just that was kind of a big thing, is because the teammates for Vancouver were almost all from Korea, they had to kind of switch things up in order for it to make sense with time zones and with scheduling and stuff like that. The last bit I have is actually a pretty interesting bit of information. Amazon has now officially entered the gaming scene as a publisher. It has its fingers in many pots, as you know, and it's had its hand in gaming since it took over ownership of Twitch, but on May 20th, they released their first IP with developers Restless Studios, and it's called Crucible. It's a free-to-play title available on Steam. It's an online game that it's a bit like a mashup of League of Legends, Overwatch, Anthem, and Monster Hunter. It's like a mashup of all the big titles.
Interesting.
Yeah, they will be following up Crucible in August with an MMORPG called New World, and this is all leading up to a cloud gaming service provided by Amazon called Project Tempo.
What a weird name for an Amazon product.
I'm gonna go ahead and read to you a little bit of the article because it's just easier for me to read it than it was to
go ahead.
Paraphrase it. So, quote, "For Crucible to succeed, it needs to appeal to a large swath of gamers and to reach a critical mass that sends its popularity skyrocketing. The game is already being streamed on Twitch, but it isn't among the most watched titles despite launching on Tuesday. Other titles like Grand Theft Auto 5, League of Legends, Fortnite, and Valorant, which is a game that is in closed beta and therefore not available to most gamers, are all bringing in far more viewers. But that doesn't mean that Crucible won't pick up steam and eventually be among the most watched games. And this isn't the only title Amazon is launching this year. The company is also developing a massive multiplayer online role-playing game called New World, which is likely to make its debut in August. Amazon is working on a game based on Lord of the Rings franchise, which which could draw in that brand's significant following. So that's the bit of the article that I wanted to read.
No, I think it's better to read it, like you said.
Yeah, so I actually downloaded Crucible and I started to play it just a little bit, and I thought, oh, maybe I should stream this because we're a gaming podcast as well as a spooky podcast. So I'm actually gonna stream it. I'll probably stream it the Saturday after this episode comes out because we talked about it. So I'll probably stream that then. But other than that, that's about all I have for like news. There were other like smaller news stories, but nothing of super like
actual
impact.
Sustenance.
Yeah. There's one article that was like the top 10 best gaming headsets, and I was like, I don't care.
People are getting real bored.
I know.
They're like, oh my god, what do we talk about now? So
yeah, really. So yeah, that's about all I've got. I mean, there was a lot to go through, so sorry it took so long, but
it's useful information for people in quarantine that actually want to try new games and have a Switch.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, I'm still thinking about Bill.
This has been fun. If you want to reach out to us, we have an Instagram. You can find us at ghoulgaminggals.podcast. You can find us on Twitter at galsghoul.
Galsghoul.
You can find us on Facebook. I do have a Facebook. It's not very set up, but we're there. And the best...
you do have a Facebook now?
No,
I said we do have a Facebook now.
Yes. So you can find us on Facebook at Ghoul Gaming Gals, and if you want to reach out to us, the best way to do it is ghoulgaminggals@gmail.com. By the time this episode comes out, we'll have done at least one stream on Monday, May 25th. So you can find Janelle on Twitch at Janel Nelly, and you can find me on Twitch at Arium Aquila, spelled AUREUMAQUILA. So
I'm sure by the time this goes up, that stream will already have been done, but just keep an eye out for more in the future.
Yeah.
I'm excited. So definitely thanks again for everyone for listening, and we'll talk to you in the next one.
Okay, bye.
Bye.